Okay, so you've already seen the previous sponsor reveals. If you haven't, go to CLS Notes, go to 2025 CLS Notes playlist on my YouTube channel, and you can check those out. This is number 3, as stated in the banner. So we're going to jump right in. So this particular sponsor has been a long-time sponsor of ours. A few years back, they stepped it up and became our title sponsor. And yes, you've probably already guessed it, it is BizBaits. So not only are they our title sponsor, but for 2025, they stepped it up for us in a very big way. So they are going to be showcased. They'll be showcased on our t-shirts, all right, as a title sponsor for 2025. But also, they'll be providing soft plastic lure packs, full packages of soft plastic lures for 1st through 5th place. Usually it's 1st through 3rd, but for 2025 season, in honor of our 5-year anniversary, there's going to be 5 prize packs, 1st through 5th. So every qualifying event, the top 5 anglers will not only qualify for the finals, where they can win a BizBaits $100 gift card shopping spree, but those top 5 anglers from each qualifying event will receive a full pack of BizBaits soft plastic lures. Let's jump right into this. This is going to be good. So, one of the lures that put BizBaits on the map. BizBaits is a locally owned, North Carolina-based soft plastics lure company that has expanded into doing spinner baits, buzz frames. They do jig heads, a variety of different things. But the thing that got them on the map was a soft plastic lure called the Dizzy Diamond. Now, the Dizzy Diamond is their adaptation of a floating worm. It's a finesse worm, okay? I mean, you know, to give it no other name, it's basically a finesse worm. I think it's like 6.5 inches, but this finesse worm, what makes it unique is that bulb on the tail, okay? Now, when you rig this up to a shaky head jig, okay, that head sits down, but that tail rides up. And that bulb just sits there in that water column, and it just undulates. It just wobbles in that water column, just goes with the flow of the current. And the bass can't stand it. They nail it. It's lethal. It is truly a lethal lure. But what a lot of people don't know is, because it's a finesse worm, you can run it just like your traditional classic floating worm. What I'll do on this is I'll take like a 4/0 heavy gauge, heavy wire offset hook, offset worm hook, or a 5/0. I like a 5/0 personally. It has a little bit of a weight to it, so if I dead stick it, it'll drop down a little faster than what I can get from a 3 or a 4. And I like dead sticking this when I'm doing it as a floating worm. So when I rig it up, I'll rig it to expose, weightless, on like a 4/0 or 5/0 hook to expose. And what I'll do is I'll put just a little bit of a kink in the back of the hook when the worm, when the point, when it gets skin hooked, okay? When I tuck that point into the top of the worm. The reason I do this, and you've probably seen Jimmy Houston do this and a couple other prominent anglers, the reason I like doing it is for the same reason they do it. That little bend on there gives it a little more work, a little more wobble in the water. So when it's running subsurface, below that surface, and that's why I use the heavier gauge hook, is I like it to run just a little below the surface of the water. And then as I'm working it, it has more action. You can do it straight, just a flat back, and it works great, okay? But I like just that little bit more action that I get when I put that slight bend when I expose that point. So that's lure design number 1. Lure design number 2 is an adaptation of the Dizzy Diamond that they designed strictly, especially, not strictly, but especially for Ned presentations. It's called the Ned Dizzy. It's got that same bulb on the top. And you see how I'm holding it straight up? You see how it's wobbling back and forth? Okay, that's what it does on a Ned head. When that puppy is sitting at the bottom and it's standing straight up like that, that tail is just wobbling left and right, just undulating under the water. Say, come and get me. Come and get me. And that's what the bass do. Smallmouth especially. Okay. Love this bait. So what a lot of people are doing now with these that they haven't done in times past, and I do this as well, is use this as a swim bait. Put this on a swim jig, on a swim head. Take that net head and work it like a swim head. Okay, you could use a ball head jig, an oversized crappie head works well, or just a swim head and put this on there. So it gives you that finesse presentation. It's not that pounding, pulsating paddle tail that is so prominent and the fish are seeing over and over and over again. Gives them a little something different. It's not quite a full straight tail. Okay, so it's somewhere in between. So it's that little something different that can make a difference in your next presentation. Give it a try. I think you'll like it. This is one of my favorite colors. This one is peanut butter and jelly. I like it because the purple kind of adds a little flair to it. Reminds me of a brim or a panfish. And there's another color. Pull this out. This one is the Alabama crawl. And then that one has the orange and then the green pumpkin on top. That one, again, is a great imitator of a sunfish, panfish, or brim. So that's lure design number 2. And no soft plastic angler is going to have a tool. No soft plastic angler is going to have a tackle box without a stick bait. So Bizbait stick bait is called a sassy stick, okay? And to me, it's the best stick bait on the market. And I'm going to tell you why I like it, okay? The reasons I like it is there's a little bit more salt in it than what you're going to see on an average stick bait, which gives it a little bit more density to the bait and makes it shimmy down just a little bit faster, okay? Not a lot, but a little bit faster. But more importantly, that the scent that's in this is Jackum juice. It's a proprietary scent that they have. And it smells great. I mean, there's garlic in this like you would not believe, but there's other scents that I can't. I mean, I know there's salt, there's garlic, and there's some other stuff in there that makes it just very unique. And the bass seem to love it. I've never been in a situation where they haven't bitten this lure. Okay, when times are tough, every angler knows this. A soft plastic stick bait is their go-to bait when times get really tough. You throw it on a wacky rig, okay, or Texpose it weightless, or Texas rig it with a small weight, slip weight, like a 1/4 ounce or maybe 1/8 of an ounce weight, so you can get it down to the bottom a little faster and work it off the bottom. Some guys even go as high as like a 1/2 ounce or a 3/8 ounce. Where I fish, mostly ponds, smaller lakes, smaller bodies of water, I can get by with a 1/4 ounce. In most cases, 3/8 I think is about as big as I'm going to go. But I really love this lure. This is one of my go-to colors. This one's called Watermelon Candy. See the purple and green flakes in there? Again, brim imitator. This is going to call them in. You can skip it up on their docks. I use the wacky rig for that. I use the wacky rig when it's more open water, when I'm not around lay downs or brush piles. But when I'm doing that brush pile scene or I'm doing a lay down, I'm going to Texpose it, usually weightless, sometimes with like that 1/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce weight, so I can get it down in between those branches. But it will work so smoothly over top of those branches, even under the water column. That's lure design number 3, sassy stick. So every angler uses some sort of crawl bait, all right? Bizbaits has 2 different kinds of crawl baits. They have what they call the cutter crawl. This one, okay, I've got this in June bug here. What I like about the cutter crawl is the slender, streamlined design, okay? This is a perfect bait for a trailer, like on a spinner bait or something of that nature. It works great on a chatter bait. But what I really like it for is when I'm flipping and pitching. Because with or without those little legs, you can pitch this into cover and it just smoothly, easily goes down. But those ribbon tail style pinchers will elongate and they flutter instead of pulsating, okay? So this makes a little different presentation. It's a little more subtle presentation, and again, very streamlined. Perfect for when you want to present it through a mat, a grass mat, lily pads, things of that nature. So that is, dropped it on the floor. That is the cutter crawl. The other crawl bait this is probably my all-time favorite crawl bait. This one reminds me a lot of a rage bug, but it's a little bit different. So, rage tail, I'm sorry. So this is the Killer Crawl. So the Killer Crawl has the oversized pinchers on it, and they have those raised edges on the pinchers right here, okay? What I like to do on these is I'll take a Spike It pen, and then I'll put a little accent color on those from time to time, depending on what time of the year it is, what the color of the water is, things of that nature. I may put some dark blue on there, or a little bit of red to get some red highlight, or even a little bit of orange, okay? Every now and then I'll use a yellow, but I'm usually partial more to red, orange, or blue when I'm using these. But these right here make great trailers, again, for chatterbaits. They make great trailers for jigs, okay? When I'm flipping a jig, I'm more likely to throw this than I am the Cutter Crawl. Now, if it's on a swim jig, I actually like the Cutter Crawl a little bit better, but these will swim just as well. But the way I usually swim these is I'll take it and put it on a shaky head, okay, with the little screw lock, and then I will bring that hook point through, and and then I'll skin hook it across the top, and I'll run it through that column, through that water column, through the strike zone with no skirt, just on a shaky head. And I have caught some nice bass off this, 3 and 4 pounders, okay? I like this particular color scheme. It reminds me of a bait fish color. They call this one Magic Crawl. It will duplicate a crawdad color certain times of the year. I also like using the Alabama Crawl on it. And the other one I like using is the Green Pumpkin with the blue flake. All of them great. All of them great. And of course, Junebug. And blue with the black with a blue flake. So those are my go-to colors when I go with those. But the fourth one that we're going to have is either going to be this one, or it'll be that Cutter Crawl, okay? So one of those two crawl type baits. Then the last lure design that will be showcased in one of those 5 packs will be BizBait's version of a beaver style bait. Now this bait has the body of a beaver bait, okay? You kind of a flat side, elongated side, and then you'll see that indentation there where you can kind of recess the hook point between those 2 ridges. So it's it's not on top, but it's sitting between the 2 ridges, kind of low, and it's not exactly to exposed, but it's not fully exposed. Or you can just kind of skin hook it, which a lot of people do. But what makes these unique is they come out of the package. The pinchers on these, they have crawdad pinchers that are attached to each other. So you can use this as a punching bait. You can also detach the crawl pinchers, and then you can use it like a crawl pattern. And it does have the raised edge on it, much like the Killer Crawls, but they're not the oversized pinchers. They're more streamlined than what you had on the Killer Crawl. So this could still be used as a punching or a pitching or flipping lure with a little more action to it when those claws are separated. All right. But what I like it for, and I don't know how many people actually use these for that. This is the Baby Biz. I especially like the Baby Biz for Ned rigs. This right here on a Ned rig is lethal on smallmouth. You can put this on like I usually don't go anything bigger than a 1/4 ounce on a Ned head, but I'm usually running like maybe an 1/8 of an ounce or a 1/16, between an 1/8 and a 1/16. And this is what I'm going to throw that on. I like it because it adds a little bit more bulk than what the Ned Dizzy does, but it gives that crawl look, okay? If I want something slender, a little more subtle, I'm going to go the Ned Dizzy. But if I want something with a little more flash, a little more bulk to it, I'm going to go with this bad boy. And they offer a lot of the same fish colors and crawdad colors that you would find in the Ned Dizzy and the Killer Crawls. You need to check these out. They're awesome. So that is lure design number 5, technically number 6, okay? So this will be in one of the 5th packets. It'll either be a full-size BizBug or it'll be a Baby Biz like this. And then you'll either have the Cutter Crawl or a Killer Crawl in the 4th pack. And it may be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, doesn't matter. But that's, lure design 4. Then you got the Ned Dizzies. And then you have the Sassy Stick. And then you have the Marquee Dizzy Diamond. So thanks to Brian and the crew at BizBaits for stepping up this year and offering prizes for all 5 of our top 5 prize packs. It's going to make the year very special. Again, they're going to have that $100 gift card for our finals winner for 2025, just like they're doing this year. So, and also they're providing a discount code for our elite members, just like they have this year and in years past. So by becoming an elite member, you'll not only get one of these custom t-shirts next year, you'll also receive discount codes from the sponsors that provide them for next year. And right now, I know I've got 2 already locked in. No, I'm sorry, 3 already locked in and more to come. So there will be a handful or more of discount codes for next year's elite members as well. So thank you for watching this one. Number 4 is right around the corner. Another big one. This is going to be kind of a new sponsor for us, and it's going to lead us into our Angler of the Year announcement as well. So it's kind of a combination. This will be kind of a combination sponsor reveal for 2 different sponsors that are working together to provide Angler of the Year for 2025 and have been for the last couple of years. But the one sponsor has stepped it up a little bit more this year to make that Angler of the Year prize pack just a little bit more special than what it has been. You want to stay tuned for that one. You don't want to miss it. In the meantime, tight lines.